Thank you. No further questions. Right, the next submitter is hopefully here in person, Craig Atkinson. Oh, he's by Zoom now. Okay, thank you.
Brent, are you in?
I don't know. I was watching somebody called Rachel.
Yes,
Kia ora, Craig. Good morning.
That's right,
and welcome
Brent.
to the Justice Committee. We've got 5 minutes set aside for your submission this morning, and over to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, at the last election, and that due to how the papers are set out and how the legislation is, I wasn't able to vote for the Maori candidate because of how it's separated. How we look technically, how Parkia set it up, that they remove every person that's non-Maori from voting for Maori. And I think that is a great failure of democracy and of New Zealand going forward. That there is many non-Maori that want to vote for Maori in the local elections and the general elections, and they should be allowed to vote, whether it's identified in a different way, but they still should be allowed to support. The members that are elected are still in Parliament or on council, so there's no difference there. It's just restricting the amount of people that are allowed to vote for them. If we turned around and said that only white Parkia Anglican males can vote for white Parkia Anglican males, there'll be outrage, because there wasn't allowed support from the rest of the communities, and it would severely limit them. That is why it is done against Maori. So I want to see Maori have proper representation going forward. With population growth,
Are you in,
and so
Maxine?
forth, we used to be at
Are you in there? Can you see me?
25% Maori. We're now at 5 million. 20%. Once we double
Are you
the
in, Brent?
skills and go
Where's
forward,
Diane?
Maori representation gets less and less unless we're allowed to vote for Maori.
And
I think we're overcomplicating the legislation, and I think it's just a matter of on the form there is a box to be ticked that you're allowed to vote on the day of elections for whichever candidate, whether they're in the Maori electorates or the general electorates, if you live within their constitution. So I feel very strongly that I should be allowed to vote for my Maori candidate in the elections, and I see many good candidates that, from the Greens that are moving over to Te Papa Maori, and I would like to support certain people going forward. And the candidates they put for ecological and social wisdom, I think they're way ahead of the 8 Ball is sort of many Maori professionals and so forth. So for that reason, I would like to see just simple forms that we are allowed to vote, and everybody. I think there's many Pacific cousins that would vote for Maori. I think there's many Indians. I think there's many disengaged from the political system, and there's many activists. Like myself, I'm Maori from Yorkshire. So that's my submission today, and I hope to see some democracy and be allowed to vote for my Maori candidate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Craig. I appreciate your submission. I'll just check with members now to see if there's any questions for you. No questions. You've been very thorough. Thank you for taking the time to submit this morning.
Thank you very much. Kia kaha.
Right, our next submitter is Catherine Sixtus, who's also joining us online.
Okay. Oh. Am I in? Oh, okay. Can you see me now? Can you see me now? Oh, all right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Catherine, yes.
Okay, can you see me?
Not yet.
Okay. Start my video. Okay, here it's come up. All
That's
right.
it. Gotcha.
Can you see me now? Okay. All right,
Yes,
so I'm
lovely.
Catherine Sixtus. My email comes up under another name, but I like to be called Catherine Sixtus. Today I'd like to present to you our ancient Anglo laws, and that we haven't been using for such a long time, and that is the 1688 Will and Mary that is in our cabinet manual. And so I'd like to bring this to the attention of Parliament and bring this to the attention of the board. And under our ancient right that we've had for hundreds of years, that has been ignored for such a long time, I'd like to talk about the grants of forfeiture and what it says here, that grants and promises of fines and forfeitures of particular persons before conviction are illegal and void. And so how I'd like to talk about this is that in law, words matter. One word sometimes doesn't mean what we think that it means when we read it. And when we go to look at that definition of that word, it becomes an extremely important word, and the changing of that word can have detrimental effect to all of the people of New Zealand. And the great word that I want to talk about today is the word general. And the definition of the word general, if you go to look at it, it says, number one, affecting, concerning all or most people, places, and things. So the second meaning for the word general means considering, including main features or elements or something, and disregards exceptions overall. And which means that when we go to vote and we disregard the candidate that we're not wishing to vote for, that disregards them and gets the people in that we want to vote for. And the third definition is a commander of an army. And then when we look at our elections and we look at our country, the people are the commanders of the country and the people are the commanders of Parliament. And so when we remove this word general, we have removed a very important piece of legislation, especially for it to be removed from the 1993 electoral law. The next word that I want to talk about is the word that Rawiri Waititi wishes to rename us, the Anglo people, to be called non-Maori. He is basically calling us a non-entity, that we have become no one. And when we looked at the definition of non-entity, it comes up as a person regarded as being of no importance or significance. And so I think that this would be a terrible thing to do to our New Zealand people. And so I'm not opposed to them wanting to have their New Zealand Maori elections, but I'm opposed to the changing of that word. The other thing that I would like to talk about, so this would be a forfeiture of our person and a forfeiture of who we are when we go to elect, from being a person that has power into a non-entity. And this would be illegal under the 1688 Will and Mary. Now, how is this also affecting our New Zealand Maori? Well, it's unfortunate for New Zealand Maori because some New Zealand Maori don't want to be on the Maori electorate. They want to be on the general electorate. And when we change this word to be non-Maori, it means that the person has a very difficult choice. They either choose to be on the Maori electorate and recognise their own personal identity, or they have to choose to be on the non-Maori. If they don't want to vote for any of the Maori candidates, they have to relinquish their identity of person and choose to be a non-Maori. Now, how is this going to affect them? Well, often the new health reforms and the housing reforms have specific things to give to the New Zealand Maori, being the disenfranchised people, that they should get these things. So if they do choose to go on the non-Maori electorate, then when they go to apply for their special housing or their special health care, is it going to mean for them that they're not going to be allowed to get any of those services because they've decided that they are a non-Maori, meaning that they do no longer exist as a New Zealand Maori person? So I think this is something, yes. And the third thing that I want to draw attention to the committee is, if we do go and look on our 1688 Will and Mary, which is in the Cabinet Manual, we can see here the limitation of the Crown. And the limitation of the Crown, it says, and I will read for you, to quote, I'm almost finished, I think I've got 1 minute, and it says, limitation of the Crown and for preventing all questions and division in this realm by reason of any pretended titles to the Crown, and for preserving a certainty in the succession thereof, in and upon which the unity, peace, tranquility, and safety of this nation doth under God wholly consist and depend. So this is can become a very divisive word that you want to use there, and I have noticed it's been used in Parliament of late. So I will just put my my voice in here that I wish to see this word non-Maori eliminated from all parliamentary sessions, not to be placed in any of our legislation for the reasons that I've just said. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Catherine, for taking the time and for all the work you've put into that submission. I'll just check with members now to see if there's any questions for you. No questions, and you've taken up your full time. So thank you so much for submitting to us today.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Online again, and it's Dunedin City Council. We've got Mayor Aaron Hawkins, and they've got 10 minutes. Kia ora, Aaron. Good morning.
Tēnā koe, Madam Chair. Kia ora
I
tātou.
gave you more than 5
Ka
minutes.
me nui kia koutou. I won't trouble the timekeeper too much today, I don't think. Our submission is short and narrow in scope, and really just here to reiterate the points that we've made around this proposal and others, and thank the government for the work that has been going on legislatively to support a greater degree of representation and participation in local government systems by our Māori community. Firstly, by empowering councils to be able to establish Māori wards without the risk of being overturned by way of a public referendum, and now related to that, changes to the electoral legislation bill that enable voters to switch from the general roll to the Māori roll at times that suit them, rather than waiting for the window every 4 to 6 years. It's relevant to local government in particular at the moment, because the significant number of councils that have established Māori wards and therefore will be those representatives will be elected by voters on the Māori roll. We haven't chosen to do that, but still it's still relevant to our community and for Māori in our community to be able to change which role they sit on at times that are convenient for them. So thank you for the work, and thank you for the opportunity to present to you today and to reinforce what is a fairly simple and direct submission on our part.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Just checking now with members to see if there are any questions for you. No further questions. Straight to the point. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate taking the time, and it's nice to see 2 South Island local government entities submitting to us this morning. So we've had Nelson as well, but really nice to see taking the time to put some effort into a submission to us. Thank you.
Kia ora.